Welcome. It's the first episode of Taking Lunch. Michael Christmas, how we doing?
Number one.
Appreciate
Number
you.
one.
Appreciate you for coming on. How you doing?
I'm cool, bro. I've been drinking beers all day and shit, rapping, all types of shit.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Where you at right now?
I'm in Boston.
Boston? Okay, cool. So let's jump into it. You're from Boston.
Yes, sir.
Were you born in Newton Wellesley Hospital by any chance?
No, I'm pretty sure I was born in Boston Medical or
Okay.
Children's. One of them two.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was also born in Boston, so that's why I had to ask. I know we had that connection over, but just checking.
Nice. Where you at now?
I'm in Santa Monica right now, so I just graduated from college.
Oh, you on a whole other side.
Whole other coast.
Okay.
So I appreciate you with the time zone connected with me. But
let me tell you something about a fucking time zone.
Tell me about
it. I thought I was late for this podcast 3 times today.
Well, see, I messed up and I
3:30, 6:30. Both times, I'm like, I missed it.
Hey, that's on.
They must have rescheduled.
Michael, that's on me. All right, but I appreciate you're here. Let's just.
My manager hit me like, let me know how the podcast goes. I was like, nigga, that was 2 hours ago. I was like, they didn't call me.
We're here, so let's just take it from the jump. So, from Boston, right? Who was Michael Christmas when he came up?
Oh man, I was a fly on the wall everywhere. I don't fucking know. Don't nobody listen. They ain't no pictures of me or nothing. Don't nobody know who I am pre-meeting niggas formally. Otherwise, I just was learning and fucking perfecting a craft. It wasn't even good by the time I met the homies still. But like I was just tucked in my mother's house and going to school, hating both of those things, and waiting for a moment. You know.
So when did you know that music was kind of what you wanted to do?
Oh, I knew it the second I started. Like 7th grade, I was like, this is what I would like to do. But, you know, being in 7th grade and wanting to do it isn't the same thing as niggas want to hoop in the 7th grade. Right. You know what I'm saying? When you 14, 15, 16, 17, then you get to 20, you know, if you're not 6'9" yet,
yeah, no hope for you.
But, you know, rapping, you just get better and better and better. So by the time I was like 18, 19, I actually was decent enough to really try.
Okay. And then, you know, growing up, I feel like kids these days, kids always, when you say what you want to be, they always have something to say about it. Oh, you want to be a rapper? Like, well, you can't rhyme. Like, did you run into people that kind of put you down for what you wanted to be like in life?
Yes, but it wasn't like yeah, you know, teachers would be like, yeah, you want to make music, but why don't you learn how to fucking count first? Like, otherwise, you know what I'm saying? As far as my family and stuff, they're all like, yeah, it's cool. You know what it was? It was like everybody treated me like yeah, that's dope. Keep doing that. But it's like, it's not fire. Right. So nobody really believes in it. But nobody wants to be the person to be like, yeah, you wasn't about to do that shit. But at the same time, I think about all the people who were just like, you know, very encouraging when I was trash. And I'm just like, word, it's good to know that you guys will push me no matter what. But at the same time, it was garbage.
So if it was garbage, when was like that first moment, that first concert, that first the first bar, like whatever it was? When was that moment where you knew that like you don't got to go to college, you don't got to get a regular job, like this is what you can do for your life?
Well, what it is so first of all, the first time I even realized it wasn't fire was when meeting Tim and Goodwin and shit, and realizing that it's not all fire. Like they're like, you know what I'm saying? This is cool. You can rap. Definitely, but like this shit isn't fire. You know what I'm saying? And that's important to have people do that because you know what I'm saying. If your shit's just like decent enough or okay, your homies will tell you like yeah, and they gonna bump it too. Even if they don't like it, they gonna bump it everywhere they go because you family like that. So you need people in your life who are gonna tell you when the shit is not cracking like that, so you can move up to that next level. But as far as the moment when I knew shit was cool, I think we did daily. And up to that point, I didn't really have anything that stuck. And then Tim was just really excited about it.
Tim, your manager, right?
You know what I'm saying? He's somebody who was always like, this is whatever, this is okay, keep working. So when he heard Daily and was actually excited about it, I'm like, okay, that must mean there's something, you know what I'm saying, here. I don't know what he's hearing that I'm not hearing, but he's very excited about it. So I'm going to run with whatever we're going to do with it. And he was like, it's just you. It's just like the most you shit you've made to this point. Like I listen to it and I see what I see in you. Okay. So I'm like, okay, that's what we're gonna do with everything from here on out.
Okay. And then after Daily dropped, kind of what was that?
My first I did my first show after my dad got out of jail. It was me, Alex Wiley, and Cam Meekins, and my dad got to come to the show. And like
Awesome.
I had sold a bunch of tickets, like literally by hand, to make sure people were there to see me. So there was a bunch of people there to see me, and my dad got to watch it. And that's when I was like, okay, from here on, shit's gonna be cool.
Okay.
And this was just a couple days after I dropped Michael Sarah too, and that shit was like taking off and shit like that. So I knew she was gonna move.
So let's talk about that. So your first ever concert, you sold the tickets yourself. Now,
This wasn't my first ever concert.
okay, so it wasn't
This
your
wasn't
first
even the
one.
first one. No, this was I had done several up to this point. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Same thing too. I'm gonna sell all the tickets by hand to people. Like, yo, you want them? Come get them. I got them. I'll meet you over here.
Okay.
This was just the one that was important to me because it was the first time one of my parents would get to see me rap in person ever. Neither of them. Like even my mom, like it took her years after that to come see me rap and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not an environment where older, you know what I'm saying? Parent folks is about to be getting mosh pitted on and shit, so it needs to be some
Yeah.
shit. The first time they both came out was the first time I sold out a venue.
Which venue was that?
Middle East upstairs.
Middle East upstairs. So it just rattles off the tongue that quick, huh?
We did the Is This Art show, sold that out, and both my mom and my dad were able to come on stage with me, and that was probably the like when from there like I'm a rapper now. This is my job.
Right. Cool, cool. So, and then after you're selling out these shows, your parents are coming out to see you. What was like that one big break that you had? That one phone call, that one Instagram DM, whatever it was, where you knew that like you're leaving Boston and you're going worldwide with this.
Well, two things, and I know a lot of people know me for these things too, is like between Logic and Mac both reaching out to me in kind of the same year span of time. Logic was the first one to get to me and like, you know what I'm saying, do some shit. We went on tour. He was a fan because Big Limbo and Six were listening to my shit and they were playing it for him. And he's like, "Who is this?" So next thing you know, it's like it mumbles and then Logic fucks with you and then it's like, "Come see me." Boom, 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 and then next thing you know, you're homies and shit like that. And the same exact thing happened with Mac too. It's like you hear mumbles of, "Yo, Mac fucks with you. He likes your shit," and you're just like, and then he hits you up. And one night he tweeted, "Is this art?" That was the exact moment Mac Miller tweeted, "Is this art?" by itself, just the words. And I was like, he knows who I am.
He knows you.
I know he knows. There's no you. There ain't nobody just saying that for no reason. And then next thing you know, it's shit like that. Me and Thelonious are cool at the time, so he starts hitting me like, "Yeah, bro, he likes your shit." Boom, boom, boom. So I'm like, okay. And then next thing you know, we start DMing each other, and I had did a song with this girl, and she wanted to do a video, so they flew us out to LA. This was my first trip to LA. Flew us out there, and Mac had told me right before she hit me to come out there, "When you're in LA, come to the crib, and we can work and shit." So I'm like... And when I get
I'm sure, right? Like, sure.
I'm like, planets are aligning here. This is all what's supposed to be happening. So, get to LA, we do the video, and then like 3 a.m., first night I'm out there, I go to his house, we get in the studio, we make a song immediately. And then we watch a bunch of videos of cats. He was talking about potentially getting a cat for the crib, so.
Cat for the crib?
That was the first, and that was, all of this stuff happened so fast and so close to each other that's just like, I drop daily, and then I go to Chicago and I show it to all the Chicago people. You know what I'm saying? Closed sessions and Ruby Hornet, and Alex Wiley, and shit like that. And then leave Chicago. And mind you, I'm on tour with Cam Meekins at the time as a hype man when we do that. So leave Chicago, come back to Boston, do Michael Sarah, shoot the video for that, put that shit out. Do the show with Cam Meekins with Alex Wiley. Alex Wiley comes to crash at my crib. Work on Is This Art. Get that shit dropped in the first couple months of 2014. Go to South by Southwest. Mind you, the day we dropped Is This Art, I saw 50 Cent. I didn't say shit to him. He was mad at somebody. And I went to This Is 50 to do an interview and fucking seen 50 Cent on the way. I lost my goddamn mind.
That's crazy, 50 Cent.
Radio interview. A few weeks later, we go to South by Southwest, meet all the internet homies. I'm talking about, we now know them as Brockhampton, my nigga Kevin, all of them niggas that we was like this because of South by Southwest. Thelonious Martin, we met at South by Southwest. Topaz Jones, bunch of homies were from the neighborhood. And then next thing you know, we're working on What a Weird Day. We get to LA, meet Mac. We got, the shit all was just like, it was like the movie, the show Entourage.
Yep.
Like a couple years straight. It was like, nigga,
You
what's
really
going
we
on?
really out here, huh? You was really
Yeah,
out there.
it was a crazy time, and so like it's cool, honestly, that like looking back at all that shit now, I was like lost in the sauce. I remember I got a fake phone call from a fake Good Music representative, who was fake Big Sean's manager.
Oh
He
no.
was trying to sign me to Good Music while I was at South by Southwest, and it was so realistic to me because I was at South by Southwest for the
You
first
thought? I
time
mean,
ever.
it must be all
I'm
this is
like,
happening.
I dropped the tape. I'm at South by, and now Good Music. This is the things that's supposed to
It's
end
all
up
lining
being
up
some
for you.
bullshit, just some wild bullshit. Like it was not Big Sean's manager
That's funny.
nor Good Music representative, but in my head, on the trajectory we was on, I'm like,
Why not?
yeah, I'm gonna get a #1 next week.
So then during this time, right, 2015, it's the Good AM tour. Now
Right?
Mac was on, right? Everybody knew who Mac
Oh,
Miller was. He's post kids. Everybody knows.
but that's the first person I ever seen in concert when I
Really?
was in high school. The first person I ever went to see in concert was Mac Miller. I had to sell T-shirts to get in. I had to go. I was working with a company that had sponsored the show,
Okay.
so I was an intern for them. So I'm like, yo, please let me run the merch table for us. I just want to see this shit. And I brought my homeboy, and me and him alternated selling shirts and watching Mac Miller perform. This was during kids. You know what I'm saying?
Back in the
So
day.
I was
That's young
already
Mac too. That's what 18, whatever, however old he was back then,
first
huh?
concert I ever saw, bro. So it just came super full circle.
And then he put you on his tour to open up, and you're traveling around the country. What does that do for you in terms of like your confidence and like the way that you think you're like view yourself? That like wow, like this guy right here has put me on, and I'm opening up for him because that's how I met you. Just for the viewers at home, I went to a Mac Miller concert, and when Mac Miller's playing, you want to go early because you want to get a good spot in the crowd. And this dude Michael Christmas shows up, so I'm like, all right, I'll
Yeah.
listen. And then Big Ass Smile comes on, and like Tick Tick, like I'm going after it. Me and my buddies, and we're loving it. So
Yeah.
like, just talk a little bit about that experience of just like traveling like around the country. I'm sure you were young. Like, what was that like for you?
So the cool thing about it was having gone on the Logic tour before this one, and that was my first tour. That was double the length, and I think I had to perform a little longer on the Logic tour too. So this one was like me coming in like I was the rookie last year. Now I'm the two year man who kind of knows what he's
Okay.
doing. But we had new challenges. The first tour we got a van, we had a DJ, a driver, and a photographer.
Whole little
Second
crew.
tour, second tour is just me and Goodwin every night in a two-door BMW. Well, I think it might have been a four-door BMW, but the back seat had our bags in it, so it
Right.
was a two-door either way. But it's just me and him. He's DJing for me, and he's driving, and we're doing the whole tour in a regular Beamer whip. And so that was the new challenge. But at the same time, I came in with this confidence because I had just done double this amount of tour. Goodwin never been on tour, but I've been on tour, so I felt like, you know what I'm saying, I'm showing you what to do
Right.
when we get on here, even though I'm still a kid, and he's still bringing me to all the places I need to be and making sure I'm responsible. So I had this newfound confidence on the second one to where, like, the Logic Tour had introduced me to so many people and so many new fans. Like, I got thousands and thousands of followers being on that one. So when it was the Mac Tour, it was almost like that first year Michael Jordan felt like he could actually win something.
Right.
And he was like, "Oh no, I know how y'all niggas operate. I'm gonna come out here and do my thing on this one, and get this chip." So that's how the second one felt, and I made a gang of friends. Like we had with more openers on, like with me and Logic, it was just me and Logic. So on the Mac tour, we had Earth Gang, we had
Gang.
Neomza, we had Shoe Jackson. Like we had a lot of people when shit come out. So that shit was dope too. Just becoming friends with Earth Gang and all these guys, and Mac's whole tour crew was the best, except his security. He had a security guard at the time who was a fucking psychopath.
What? Tell me about Mac Miller's psychopath security guard.
Nah, you know what it is? I don't know if you play Resident Evil 2 and Mr. X be busting through the wall to crack your fucking head open, but that's this dude, and I expect that when he sees this, that's gonna happen to me. But he stopped working for him before the tour was even over. Because this motherfucker was so aggressive, bro. He grabbed my boy who played for NC State at the time, 6'9" basketball player Malik. Grabbed this boy like a boy when we was at the after party club shit. And he came up to me like, yo, why did security grab me like that? I felt so little. I'm like, nigga, what you think? I'm 5'10".
You can't do nothing about it.
He grabbed me the same way. I'm on tour, bro. He only was there to secure one person and one person only, which is fine. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
But once they got rid of him, the new security nigga was so cool, bro.
He was
That
chill
was
with it.
my god. I was like, I took a picture. I was taking pictures with the nigga. Once they fired scary ass dude and got rid of him, he was like bald and he looked like a Boondocks parody of a security guard, like how muscular, like eating 32
yoked
eggs.
up, dude.
32
cracking their eggs into his mouth milk. Instead of putting them in the pan.
Like you see him, you go the other way. It don't matter if you on a tour or not. Go the other way, bro.
I guess he's doing his job.
Yeah, no, he was doing his thing. Realistically, that's kind of what I want. But like, relax. Like I remember we did a show with Chance. I met his security guy at the time. I think his name was Julio, something like that. And I added him on Facebook and everything. He was one of the nicest people I ever met in my life. Okay. This dude was like on some CIA shit, bro. He wasn't no big brolic ass. He was a lean, tall Spanish man with a little
thing in his ear.
Little thing in his ear. And he was using that shit all the time. Like, 1 second. Okay, cool. Securing the perimeter, bro. I was like, that's crazy. And he told me he liked my shit. He was like, when you need security, you call me, you work with me. I was like, I got my pops and shit.
That's funny.
Shit cheaper.
So, during that tour, you spend a lot of time with Mac Miller. And, I mean, Mac to a lot of people is like that guy. And I remember where I was when when I heard the news. I know exactly where I was. My boy was crying right there next to me. Mm-hmm. Talk about like, your relationship with Mac and like, the things that like you saw through him. How is he living through you today?
Man, honestly, like a lot of the shit I saw is just creativity on another level. First of all, I am not that talented. I'll be the first to tell you, bro. I can rap, and I can rap fast. If you ask me to write a verse in 2 minutes, it'd be a verse for you there. But this man would go in with like half a written verse and half a made beat and spit the half written verse, freestyle the rest, come out the booth and play the rest of the beat on instruments. You know what I'm saying? Like the creative process for him was like the freedom that you want as a young new artist to make your music. But he had all the things because he'd been doing it for so long and had been such a pro and been so prolific at it. It's like watching a kid on a playground, bro, play with all the toys, but like his toys are really music. Like he spent all day, every day working on music. It makes me ashamed of myself anytime I spend like a week or two not recording. I'm like, my man's had the studio in his house. Never went in there once in my life and didn't see him in the studio. Even at his birthday party, he took like half the party into the studio at one point. Like, wow. I went in there, I remember looking around and thinking, damn, everybody's kind of gone. And then I'm like, I know where niggas is at, and going to the little sneak off studio, bro, and everybody's in there, like, cause that's where he's at. I think that's where he's at now. In the studio, making some shit right now, bro, all the time. And so, as far as like prolific creativity, none better. Just creativity in general, none better. You have fun with the shit. Some people just make the shit because it's their job to do it. I don't think he ever did that.
That's good to hear. That's great to hear. And so building off, Good AM tour, now you're so were you always independent throughout your career?
Yeah, pretty much. The only time I ever did any like label work, I did an album with this company overseas in the UK, like a collaborative effort a few years ago, just that came out over there. And then I did the Fool's Gold, the Role Model. Okay. Me and Fool's Gold did Role Model, and that's everything. On What a Weird Day, we did a distro deal, but still it was my thing, like no label involved and shit. That's just been the way to go.
So for people listening that don't really know what it means to be independent, coming from an independent artist, like just give it to me straight. Like what does it mean to be independent?
Oh boy, listen, it's a bitch, but at the same time, it's freeing. You know what I'm saying? It all depends on you. It all depends on you. Like you can have a team around you and people who do shit, but regardless of what, if you're the front person for this, you know what I'm saying, conglomerate that you call yourself an artist, then you have to be coming with the shit all the time. It has to be your everyday thing to be making music. The difference between an independent artist and somebody who puts music out just cause is like making it a job or not. You know what I'm saying? Thinking about it 24/7 all the time. Like I might sit for 8 hours a day, but my brain been working hard as shit all day to think
Okay.
about what we can do, what's possible. And also, as an independent artist, you just have to fund yourself. Like, whether it's, you know what I'm saying, you make a product, you bring it to a company and say, pay me to help finish this or whatever it is, either way. Or you just raise the money on your own, you go get a job, or you sell something. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what, the difference between label and independent is they'll give you some money to do some shit with it, but at the end of the day, they're going to take a percentage until you recoup
Right.
that advance. As opposed to, you know what I'm saying, you figure it out on your own and you put it out and you keep all of it minus, you know what I'm saying, what you break off with the people who actually work with you.
Got you.
So for me, it's like, you know what I'm saying, less money up front, but more freedom always is better. Because, you know, as we grow, that less money up front and that money off of just the streams is going to continue to grow as well. And we're going to be able to do more. Also, there's a bunch of different ways to do it as creative now. And like, I won't say labels hinder you. I've made sure to make sure I've never been hindered creatively. I've always wanted to be able to do my thing.
Okay.
But you will be hindered in the sense that you can't do everything you want to do all the time. And that's, you know, if that's all right with you, make it happen. Or if what they're presenting to you is worth it to let go of all of your freedom,
Go ahead and
then
do it.
make it happen. And sometimes it's cool to do it. Like the shit with Fool's Gold, I didn't feel any of those feelings. It was quick. You know what I'm saying? We did one album and they helped me. We did some huge videos and got some cool shit done.
Okay.
And then it was done and I'm back doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, there's ways to do it. Just be careful. Just don't lock your life up with none of these people, bro. And always go with the little guy. Fuck giving the big man of $1 billion to do some shit. Find people who are hungry to work with you, and that's how you survive independently.
So okay, so and just stripping away the music piece, because like the reason why I'm doing this podcast is it's kind of for people who are still kind of figuring out their way, right? People who don't have the biggest house or the biggest car yet, or have made that promotion, right? So there are a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people right now, you know, that I know who, you know, didn't go to college or who aren't doing a 9 to 5 right now. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you relate being independent to hustling and grinding and to being able to make shit happen for yourself to where it wouldn't happen, you know, if you're going to college or if you're working a 9 to 5? Like, how do you take that independent mindset and apply it to someone in life?
Well, it's tough to say exactly how you make somebody apply it. It's more about passion. You know what I'm saying? If you're passionate, then you're going to just do what you want to do. That was my thing with music from the jump. I didn't have shit when I started making music, and I still don't really have shit. You know what I'm saying? All the shit around me is my shit. And you know what I'm saying? I live here and I have things and I can pay my bills through music and stuff. But as far as like having grandiose shit, like it's not there yet. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of artists. It's all about patience. It's about budgeting. It's about, you know, controlling the situation, being realistic. It's a lot of different things, but passion is the most important thing. You gotta want that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, not even on some, I want to be the greatest rapper of all time. Just like, this is my art. Think about being a painter. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't selling $3,000 worth of paintings every day, but if you love painting, you're gonna get up and paint every day. Music is the same thing. I think people have this one tunnel vision idea of what music is. I want to be the GOAT. I want to be the
Right.
Fulfillionaire Mansion MTV Cribs GOAT. But there's so many different ways to come up off of this and be successful. You know what I'm saying? When I think about success in music, I think about currency. I think about people like Schoolboy Q, people who just like their day to days are smooth. They do what they want to do, and they get to create, and they get to provide for their families, and have some cool shit along the way.
Right.
That's what you should be striving for: is making it work. And the other part of that is, you know what I'm saying, if you're a musician and that's what you do, don't limit yourself to music. Like, open your mind to other potential ways to make money and be an artist, and use music as the filter. You know what I'm saying? I want to do stand up. I want to write movies. I want to do anything that has to do with making people laugh. I want that to be a part of my career as well. So one day, I hope to have music, comedy, writing, all of
All
these
of
things
it.
making me money at once.
Awesome. Cool. So post Good AM tour, like you're on now, right? People know your name. You probably got that blue check on Instagram and Twitter. You're
Mm-hmm.
getting millions of views on your music videos and your songs and stuff like that. When you kind of got a taste of that success, how did you, or did you, were you humble? How did you stay humble? How did you keep level headed? And you know, while yeah, you were doing well, you still had a long way to go, right?
Mm-hmm. The cool thing is having people around you to keep you humble. That was one thing Tim from the jump before we even actually did any work together. He was like, one of the things was I want somebody to work as hard as me, and the idea was don't get caught up on like small victories. You know what I mean? We get posted on Complex. That doesn't mean quit your fucking day job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We get booked for a show. That doesn't mean we did it. You know, everything doesn't mean you did it. So that was the main thing. Was just remember that there's always another thing that you want. Like my mom's not fine. Like well now she is, but at the time my mom wasn't fine. My family wasn't okay. So there's no reason to be celebrating, even if I get to do a Lollapalooza, or even if I get to sell out a show at the crib. Shit's not over. You know what I'm saying? The goals aren't all done. So that's the one thing is don't ever think that it's over. Stop celebrating. Like celebrate though too.
Okay.
I think we all realize. I saw Tim say something more kind of along these lines the other day. Is like stuff happens, you know what I'm saying? Cool shit happens, but nothing ever really happens again the way it did the first time. You know what I'm saying? All those small victories, the little things, getting posted on places and getting to go have meetings and getting to go do shows or meet these people. Like, you're never going to do these things again. Even if you do them again, it'll never be like that first few times. So, celebrate that shit, but don't be complacent.
Okay.
Is all. And that's how you remain humble, is always push yourself to do more than what you're doing. It's not enough. All that shit you did everybody's proud of you, it's not enough.
Not enough.
It's not enough at all.
Gotcha.
Keep going. You didn't do shit as far as the real is concerned.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll swing back into it. You know, one of the things that I wanted to ask you is dealing with pressure, right? Because like right now, like for me, just graduated college, working for the Clippers, right? And I'm doing sales, and in my job, every single number, every single piece of revenue, every email, every text, everything I do is tracked to where anybody in the organization can log on the little website and see who's in front, who's in second, who's in last. Mm-hmm. It's hard, right? It's hard to know that I can't skate by. I can't slack off. Yeah. At the end of every single day, someone's going to know what I did for the last 8 hours. So for you being in the music industry to where you got to put out new songs, you got to drop a cool music video, you got to go on tour, how do you deal with pressure and how do you make it so that it doesn't get to you and hinder from your art or from your craft?
Well, I'll say the thing about art, I think that a lot of artists really love is avoiding shit like that situation. Is and it's another thing that I also talk about all the time is like the way that the way that streaming and music is today, it's pushing you to release as much music as possible. So like it's kind of hard to be like a pure artist in that way. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you don't care about promotion and stuff like that, if you don't really lock into those things, then you can't push yourself to be really that big. But there's some artists who are beautiful, dope artists who won't get the opportunities they seek because they're not following the formulas that work for you today. Now, as far as like what you got going on and shit, like as an artist, yeah, if you're trying to be successful, for real, be successful, and I'm talking about successful publicly and in the eyes of people and monetarily, then yeah, you got to make, especially for somebody like me who's very private and doesn't really give a shit to be in somebody's face all goddamn day. You got to make sacrifices, and stuff's tough. Like Tim would be like, "Yo, let's do this video today, just like to promote this thing," and I'm just like, I'll have like anxiety, like sweat bead anxiety. Like I don't want to hold my phone up to my face and talk to it. You know what I'm saying? And so stuff like that. But it's nothing major. You have to always consider the alternative. You're an artist, you know what I'm saying? You could just be not doing that. You could be at your job that you hate, daydreaming about doing what you love. And so that few minutes or a few hours or a few days even of sacrifice ain't shit compared to what it could be. So you have to always consider that.
Cool. So it's funny that you bring that up. You talked about like the anxiety of putting up a new video and your manager hitting you up. So, I'm going to play here on my phone like my favorite Michael Christmas ever. The first 50 seconds of this song, like when I heard this, I was like, this a real dude. He's not rapping about drugs and guns and cars and stuff like that. He's rapping about important stuff. So I'm gonna play this, and I'm sure obviously it's your song, you'll recognize it, but I want to ask you.
Don't give me that much credit, bro. I've been drinking all day. Let's hear it.
Here we go.
Oh.
Just let the first 40 seconds ride for the listeners. I'm still, I'm still fucking up all the time. Yeah. I know I'm not the only one. I still can't get shit right. I know I'm not the only one. I feel like staying in tonight. I know I'm not the only one.
That'd be crazy.
Today I didn't go outside. I know I'm not the only one. So that right there, like take me back to when the pen hit the paper. Like where were you from mind state? Because that's deep. Like those lyrics, like that's content right there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's real rap. Like take me back to when the pen hit the paper and where you were at in life and why you needed where you felt to write that.
So I'll say, just to be clear right now for everybody, because a lot of people have this question. Toby came up with the Not the Only One hook. I went to his house with both verses and the beat done when I was in LA, and he was sick. And I sat down and I was like, bro, I want to make this song that reflects me. Like, I want to be at the crib. I don't want to do shit. Like, more or less, I told him, like, I don't want to do shit. Like, that was more or less the idea of the song, is like, as soon as I drop this album, I want to be gone, bro. And just in general, like, that's kind of how I feel about everything. It's like, I want this to get out. I want people to really love it. And then I want to go be privately enjoy myself until the next thing comes up. And so gave him that idea, and he ended up having like a wild cold and shit like that. So he couldn't record. He's just real sniffly, but he's like, I'm gonna work on this. So we sat there for a little while and just like talked about the song and what we were gonna do and shit. I rapped it for him a few times, and then I left. By the time, and this was in LA, he was living in LA. Okay. I left. Was probably there for another day. Get back to the crib like the day after. Go to the studio, and he sent me the hook, and I open it up, and I'm just like,
fire.
Like, this is everything. This is everything I said. This is all the stuff I said. And so, like, he captured it perfectly. He fucking spazzed writing that. But also, like, one of the best songwriters that we have. So, it's not a huge surprise. But the idea was, I don't want to do shit. And I know I'm not, like, alone in this. You know what I'm saying? Like, he felt the same way, too. Like, just... like, that's what that song's about. And generally, if you listen to my music for real, that's what all of them are about. Just leave me alone. Like, so I can do my thing. People are annoying, bro. So...
I feel like a lot of people, you know, my age, young, like, all these generations, they kind of want to be in the light. They want to have the followers. Mm-hmm. They want to be famous. They want to do. So it sounds like for you, you just want to create and then fall back. Like, what has that done for you? Like, why does that work for you? Why does, you know, being able to kind of put that effort in, but then taking a step back, does that help you out from a mental health? Like, what does that do for you?
It's mentally helpful, but also sometimes I sit and be like, you know, as somebody who, in the black community, everybody's not thinking like, oh, this nigga want to be holed up in his house all the time. What's wrong with him? They're thinking, what's wrong with him? Like, he's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I always think like, damn, are people like not fucking with me because I don't want to do stuff and shit like that? Or like people gonna like me less? Like they start to feel that kind of pressure. Like maybe I should post more. Maybe I should be in people's faces more often. Maybe I should take that video. But for me, I'm like a pure artist in the way that like I feel like nothing should be able to kind of hinder or ruin the way I feel about my art. So I've always been kind of somebody you had to scuffle with to get to do shit. Like when I lived in LA, I lived with Goodwin. He's a photographer. He's like one of the best photographers there is. And he would come wake me up every day, like, let's go take pictures. And I'm like, I just don't want to do that. Right? like I would much rather you close that door and let me continue to listen to beats until tomorrow. like from right now till tomorrow, I'm just gonna listen to beats. Maybe I'll write something. Maybe I won't. But I don't want to be. And then, you know, sometimes I'll be sitting there feeling like kind of ashamed of that pattern of behavior and thinking. But at the same time, again, you know, some artists are some way, some artists are others. I start thinking about a lot more difficult niggas that came before me. And then with that, I always think, like, you know what I'm saying, if I'm going to be a difficult artist, I have to be a good one. at least. So that's why I'm always pushing myself to be the best musician I can be. Because like, if nothing else, I want niggas to know I'm really one of the best rappers. Like, fuck the accolades and Grammys and all that shit. I want niggas to know when they make the list, regardless of what, Mike Chris was one of the best rappers that is.
So you touched on this a little bit, but when you wake up in the morning, right, and you don't want to go outside, right? You want to sit, you want to listen to beats, you want to put the work in. What's that fire under you that pushes you every single day? Is it a person? Is it a thing? Is it an idea?
I love it, bro. I really love making music. Like you know, since pandemic started, I've been building the studio in the crib and shit like that, and like just working out of here. And I make songs just because I want to hear them. Like that's what I'm realizing more and more now that I'm making music, like in the crib and making it on my own time, is working on the projects and stuff. I quietly damn near finished my next project in like 3 weeks to a month. You know what I'm saying? As far as writing and recording in the crib. So I love.
Do we gotta edit that part out? Like, do we gotta edit that part out, or we can leave that part in? The new album, the new piece is coming out.
Hey, I wouldn't say coming out. I say I finished my part.
That's one part. Okay.
Keep that in mind.
Right,
my part is finished. There's still mad more shit to do. But as far as writing and raps goes, I'm borderline done already. And that's because I just like doing it. After I finish that shit, I'm just sitting there. I start hitting homies up like, yo, I'm sorry I didn't have time to get to that verse. Send me like 3 more beats. I'll rap to all of them. And you pick the one. Like, it's what I like to do. Period. So it's like, it's not a thing of, it's just what I love to do.
That's dope. Well, I guess the last thing, I'll wrap it up with is like I said, taking back into it. The reason why I'm kind of doing this podcast, right? Like, I'm sure when people figure out, they're gonna be like, they'll clown me, right? Like, this guy he thinks he's the next. He goes to LA and he's a podcast guy now. He's got a little studio with movies on the wall, and he thinks he's the man.
Fun, bro. This is a good time, bro. I'm fucking with this. I hope they like me on the hey.
But let me ask you this though, like, for someone such as myself and the hundreds and the thousands and the millions of people out there who they got a little something going for them, right? I graduated college. I work for a professional NBA team. Like, things are going well, but like, I got so much more to do. So many more sleepless nights. So many more early wake ups. Like what words do you have for someone like me who's just still trying to figure it out?
Well, I like the way you described it as somebody who has a little something going, but isn't all the way there. I'd say faith for one. And this isn't even just religious, like just faith in general and the people around you and in yourself. This is one of the things I'll preach to the day I die, but I really feel like if you really want it and you really work hard for it, like really want it, unless you really want to dunk and you're like very short, there's not a lot you can't do with just drive. And the thing is, some people think they have drive, but they're not driving towards the thing that they really love. If you have drive for it, then nothing will stop you. You know what I'm saying? I was a trash rapper from 7th grade till like 19 years old. At some point in that shit, I should have probably stopped. You know what I'm saying? At some point in that time period, it probably should have been, but I didn't. It's what I wanted to do. And even when I started to realize, like, oh, I got to make adjustments and really be good at this, and the shit still wasn't all the way there. I wasn't ready to give up. I'll never be ready to give up. And so, that's part of what's the most important thing about, you know what I'm saying? That, and then, celebrate your small victories shortly and then get right back to it. Like, that's the other thing. Like, I'll never give up, but I'll also never give up. It's a hard work thing and a passion thing.
So for someone who's in the position to where you are now, right, to put this knowledge and this wisdom on me, where are you at and what's next for you, right? Where do you still have left to go? What's left in your tank?
The beautiful thing about exploring as an artist is that's what it is we're going to keep exploring, bro. Like, I love what I'm doing. I love making music. I love writing, whether it be music or sitting down and trying to write screenplays or sitting down and trying to write anything else. These things are fun to do, so you just keep completing more and more things off of your checklist and keep trying to move them around until shit happens. That's more or less what it is to be an artist, you know what I'm saying? You paint the same painting, a little bit of difference every day until some art dealer is like, $1 billion for that shit because it's the one,
Right.
and, you know, and it's and then being consistent after that. So, you know, like before the pandemic started, I went to 2 weeks straight probably of open mics. Did two open mics for stand up comedy, and the plan was to do like eventually like 7 open mics a week, and then
That's
10 open mics a week, and then
That's
just
every day.
real, just exactly get to the point where it was like I'm doing because I wanted to do the work. I'm passionate about comedy the way I'm passionate about music. I'm passionate about making people laugh the way I'm about music. So I'm willing to go sacrifice every day, all the time, to go do jokes and get booed and meet these people and do it the right way, not just do it the easy. Oh, I rap, so I'm gonna be funny.
Right.
Come to my stand-up comedy show. No, I want to practice the shit because I love it. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. You practice it, you love it, you put it to use until it makes you money, and then when it makes you money, you start thinking, how do I make this bigger? Like it's simple shit, and it's not simple shit. You know, the world will have you think that all this stuff is different and impossible, bro. It's just start. You selling something, whatever it is. You're selling your podcast. I'm selling my raps.
All right. Well, listen.
Make the people believe in it the way you believe in it, dog.
That's what I gotta do, and I appreciate you taking the time. You know what I'm saying? I messed up the invitation a couple times. You know, I've been hitting
No,
you
no, no, no,
up.
no. Don't worry about it. That was a lot of fun for my day. It kept me on my toes.
Cool. Well, listen, I'm one of your biggest fans, and you know, I'm rocking with you. You know, whatever you do, you know, music wise, you know, the next video game you drop, stand up comedy, whatever, you got one with me, man. So I appreciate you, Michael, and I wish you nothing but the best, man.
My dog, thank you so much for having me, bro. We taking lunch?
Taking lunch.
Hell yeah.
Peace, bro.
Lunch.